was very proud of the work he did, and they loved him.
Family members have identified the U.S. contractor killed by an airstrike in Syria last month as a man from Summerville. Loved ones are mourning the loss of Scott Dubas, a graduate of Summerville High School, who they say was adored by people not just here in the Lowcountry, but all over the world. Emily Zuhowski joining me now after sitting down with Dubas' brother for an exclusive interview you will only see right here on Live 5 News. And Emily, what have you learned about him?
Well, Michael, every loved one that I've spoken to have echoed the same love and appreciation for Scott Dubas. They say he's a man who not only loved his job working side by side with the U.S. military, but he left a big impact wherever he traveled because of his helpful nature and his love for life. And today, Scott finally returned home.
I didn't want him to be the U.S. contractor killed in Syria by the drone. I wanted it to be U.S. contractor Scott Patrick Dubas of Summerville, South Carolina. And I wanted people to know that he sacrificed his life for this country.
Scott Dubas was a Lowcountry boy at heart, a graduate of Summerville High School. His friends and family say he was always there to lend a hand.
If you met him, you had a friend for life, and it was going to end with a big smile and a big laugh. He was just such a likable guy.
His career as a contractor to the U.S. military would eventually take him around the world, from Europe to the Middle East.
He tried to shield us from the dangers that he was experiencing over there. He would always say, I'm going to be all right. He talked to my parents, I'm going to be all right, Mom and Dad. I got it. And he shielded us from a lot of that.
His family has identified the 52-year-old as the U.S. contractor killed in a drone attack in Syria on March 23rd.
Another word I've seen describe him is hero. You know, can you talk about that word and what that means?
He lost his life supporting the men and women of the service.
The family traveled to Dover Air Force Base for the dignified transfer of Scott's body and were there to see his casket draped in an American flag. Now Scott is finally home in the Lowcountry after a homecoming fit for a hero at the Charleston International Airport, complete with a procession from law enforcement and volunteers from the American Legion. Now the family is getting ready to memorialize him while dealing with unimaginable loss.
I don't know what I'm going to do without him. I really don't. I don't. I'm going to miss him.
His brother tells me things just keep popping up that make them believe Scotty, as they call him, is right there with them. A visitation and funeral for Scott will be held on Saturday in North Charleston. Michael.